Probably everybody in the room would say that one of the key disruptors in all industries, and the marketing, data, and insights industry is not excluded, is technology. The other disruptor is the rise of the experience economy. The experience economy, and I think all of us have read, have heard, and in fact have experienced experiences. Experiences create more value than goods and more value than services. And we know that companies have to offer their customers an unforgettable experience in order to succeed. The good news is that advances in technology are enabling these companies to actually create memorable experiences and personalized experiences at scale. And the other good news is this move from offering products to offering experiences is shifting the focus from outputs to outcomes. And what that means for our industry is that there's a need for new data, new insights, and new measures. And one of the new measures, as you might expect, is customer experience measurement. So how's the industry doing, thinking about the brand marketer and their customers? Not well, would be the short answer. What Marketo tells us is that there remains a critical gap between what the marketer and the customer perception is of a winning customer experience. 83% of marketers think they're doing a great job. Unfortunately, only 33% of their customers would agree. So clearly, there's a gap, there's a call to action. So what are we seeing? We know, being in the industry, that brand marketers are actually waking up and they're actually adapting rapidly to address this expectation of their customers and their prospects, and taking advantage of the opportunity that this represents for revenue growth. And we also know that the insights providers know they must evolve or become marginalized. And so we see the more traditional players starting to innovate, and we see new players starting to enter the market, all with the view of helping brand marketers start to successfully address the expectations of their customers and their prospects. So there's a lot of change at play, and I think it would be fair to say that the market that we call marketing data and insights is fundamentally changed and will continue to change going forward. So now, with kind of the two forces that are affecting our market defined, let me now focus the balance of my time this morning on the market and the market landscape, and then on to opportunities. So in order to understand the marketing data and insights industry, I think it's important to understand the role of the brand marketer. Because fundamentally, at the end of the day, we as an industry are in place to help the brand marketer successfully drive demand and thereby drive revenue. The brand marketer's role, fundamentally, is focused on building the marketing mix. A way to think about the marketing mix is a term that many of you are probably familiar with, and that is the 4 Ps: the product, the price, the promotion, the placement. And what we see going forward is now there's a 5th P, and that's personalization. So the role of marketing has now gotten more complex with the addition of personalization, and it's also gotten more complex with the expectations of the customer. So to help the brand marketer design, build, and operate the winning personalized customer experience, that's a mouthful, there's a need for, as I mentioned, new data, new insights, new measures, in order to understand their customer. Understand their customer from a very fundamental point of view along all the touch points, both online and offline. Understanding how they're making decisions along that pathway, and what's ultimately motivating them to buy. What you'll hear later in my presentation is that understanding the customer is now being also referred to as understanding the human, or flipped. It's all about human understanding. So the industry is building services and information services and analytics to help the brand marketer better understand their customer at a fundamental level. They're then building services to better understand the product that's being delivered and how satisfied the customer is with that product. And now product is more than just the physical goods. It's everything that surrounds the delivery of the product. So it's now much more complex in order to help the brand marketer understand their product and the innovation roadmap that they need to have in place in order to continuously deliver that winning experience. They need services to help them understand the creative, the content, and the messaging. And now, we've heard the phrase omni-channel marketing. Well, again, more complexity, more data is needed, and more help is needed to extract the insights in real time. Pricing and revenue optimization, another area of importance. And now with online, pricing becomes a more real-time exercise and not something that is done from time to time. And then, last but not least, using this insights to inform the activation of the product in the marketplace and to inform the go-to-market strategy. So the role of the brand marketer is complex. It's become more complex, and this is informing the shape of the marketing data and insights sector. Supporting all of these activities, of course, is performance management. And so data are needed to understand performance along the journey, across the channels, and these performance data need to be delivered in the right time frame in order for the brand marketer to respond and ensure that the winning customer experience is delivered. So, as I said, the role of the brand marketer really defines the shape of the marketing data and insights marketplace, because at the end of the day, the marketing data and insights market and the suppliers are there to service the needs of the brand marketer or CMO, whichever you would like to use. So now let's look at our marketplace. And we've chosen to refer to the marketing data and insights marketplace as InsightTech. And more than InsightTech, the InsightTech ecosystem, reinforcing that our industry is now fully tech-enabled, and it's all about delivering insights. So this is the shape of the market. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm going to highlight a few things. The top right of this the traditional market, I think it's top right, that you're looking at is what we would classically refer to as the market research industry. And SMR, the leading industry trade association, sizes the traditional market at about $40 billion. $40 billion that is flat to slightly down as of their 2019 report. It's complemented now by a new segment referred to as data and analytics. It's the segment highlighted in green. This segment is now another $40 billion. The difference is this segment is growing at 10%. So when you think about the blended marketing data and insights marketplace, it's now an $80 billion industry growing at a blended rate of 6%. It's a vibrant industry. And the growth is enabled by a number of new players that I'll share with you in a couple minutes. What's not included in the $80 billion are the companies that are in the segments listed at the base or the foundation of the chart. These are companies like Oracle, Adobe, Salesforce, companies like M1 with Merkle or Omni with Omnicom. And what we see is that these companies are fundamentally starting to absorb some classic marketing data and insights capabilities into their organization. We sometimes refer to this chart as a Pac-Man chart, envisioning these larger players starting to work their way up the industry, increasingly absorbing assets so that they can provide the brand marketer, the CMO, with a better solution. So when we think about new players, we need to think about well-capitalized new players, well-capitalized disruptors stepping in. What I've done on this chart is just highlighted a few areas where investment is happening in innovation, in new services. As I mentioned before, Customer understanding is now being called human understanding. Some of the big players in the marketplace, Kantar, Ipsos, and a mid-market player, Lieberman Research Worldwide, are using the term human understanding. In fact, Lieberman Research Worldwide refers to themselves as humans understanding humans. So it's all about understanding that whole customer and in very, very fundamental and action-oriented ways. So I've highlighted the top row of the market map and customer insight and advisory services, and I'm looking at human understanding and market measurement. You'll see some very major private equity firms active in this space and reinventing this more traditional space. You'll see social media intelligence, and here too, a number of major private equity firms, as well strategics, active in shaping this space. And then customer experience, again, major players. When we look at research services and self-service solutions, we see investments happening in the development of first-party data, in the automation of market research platforms, and a huge area of need and activity, the integration of all this data to better understand the whole human, the analytics to extract the insight, and the visualization to communicate that information effectively and quickly. So you can see from here major well-funded players investing in a market that is important to the brand marketer and their brand marketer client, their CMO client, and one that is growing. A couple of themes when we look across this chart. What you'll notice is you don't see too many names twice. There's a lot of private equity money in the marketplace, and in fact, in a separate analysis, trying to see if there were any patterns in terms of ownership, we could hardly find a single one. So suffice it to say, there's a lot of interest being focused on this industry. And when we think about complex, think about structured and unstructured data, social media, and everything that needs to be brought together in order to understand the customer and inform the marketing activities. On the vertical, think about technology and analytic sophistication, from the more basic to the more advanced, with the more advanced including AI and machine learning, as well as what I'm calling advanced automation. And you'll see on this chart that I've made a distinction between more basic automation and advanced automation. Across the top, we refer to our waves of innovation. The first wave is what we're calling self-service and automation, and it's self-service and automation of the more fundamental, the more basic information services, largely around test and learn. The second wave of innovation is more around model-driven decision-making, so more structured decision-making, bringing together the right data, the right analytics, the right visualizations to help clients make decisions with confidence. Little to no automation in this area. Moving to wave 3, which is what we're calling the integrated workflow platform for design. This is where we're seeing basically an accumulation of what's in wave 1, what's in wave 2, now coming to bear in wave 3. And then in wave 4, it's AI intelligent marketing activation systems. So this is the framework as we think about the marketplace in terms of the data being provided, the analytics being provided, and how they're being brought together to create value for the brand marketer. Now I'm going to layer in some segments of innovation. So if I come back to self-service and automation, what we'll see is a segment. We'll see first-party data and panel firms, and here's where we would place Dynata maybe 6 months ago. We see self-service and automated MR. Here's where we would see a company by the name of ZappyStore. And what they've done is basically automated from beginning to end, so call it end-to-end automation, of basic test and learn services to help clients test their messaging and test their innovations. In wave 2, we have where we position the traditional market, the high end of the traditional market research industry, as well as the consulting organizations that have yet to automate. And these organizations are helping clients with high-profile, high-value decisions using structured models. They have not built systems. It's still very professional services oriented. And here you'll see, in terms of strategic market research, the Cantars, the Ipsoses, and in terms of marketing strategy consulting, you'll see the McKinseys, you'll see the Deloittes. So that's just to level set for you. Wave 3, what you'll notice if you remember the chart on well-capitalized disruptors, these are the similar categories. We're seeing new syndicated data to help clients measure the marketplace. And an example of this would be digital shelf being new data that's being made available to clients on the digital side to understand e-commerce. We have omni-channel or multi-channel, multi-source data integration. Here we see as an example Salesforce acquiring MuleSoft and more recently acquiring Tableau to help clients bring together the right data to understand their business and understand their customers. Moving up to customer experience journey and total market basket, here's where Numerator is starting to play to help clients understand that total basket, that online, offline path to purchase. And then the integrated marketing and decision workflow, very interesting area, all about automation. And two organizations that come to mind are McKinsey's Periscope and Origami Logic, which was just recently acquired by Intuit. Very smart solutions. In the case of Periscope, their focus is helping clients basically manage their revenue. They're doing revenue optimization, and they've built an incredibly impressive suite of services that are available both as SaaS and SaaS with service. In the case of Origami Logic, they're extremely well respected for the simplicity that they brought to data integration, and their focus has been performance management. So some very interesting companies, and what you can see if you overlay Wave 3 with the well-capitalized disruptors, you'll see a tremendous amount of overlap, largely because we believe this is where the bets are being placed. This is where the clients are going to ultimately benefit from the better, faster, cheaper. And then in the fourth wave, if we look over to personalization and activation systems, this is where we see M1 and Merkle providing the industry with very sophisticated data integration to understand the customer. And their focus right now is on activation. When you spend time with that data set, you can see that it can also be an extremely valuable tool in helping brand managers start to design the winning customer experience. And then if we look to the top, the always-on marketing system, here we're starting, we believe that we're going to see Oracle and Adobe and Salesforce in this space, but we're seeing some early moves by a company called Zeta Global. We're seeing some early moves by Sir Martin Sorrell with S4 Capital. So we're seeing a very dynamic marketplace. And if we go back to my simple model, we see Wave 3 today is discrete, and we see Wave 4 today as being discrete. But looking forward, they will come together because the insight from Wave 3 and design is going to inform the execution or the activation. And at the end of the day, it all has to be supported by the human understanding. So when we think about paths, we have the verticals of design and activation, and when we cut through and look at the horizontals, we see that there are companies actively creating new data, and those data are person-level data, human-level data, and then we see organizations creating marketing decision-making systems, and that's That's where the money's being spent. So it's an incredibly exciting time for somebody who had to almost be embarrassed to say I'm with the market research industry because everybody thought it was a dusty industry. I think and hope you're taking away that we have moved from dusty to dynamic. It's an incredibly dynamic industry, and every day there's new evidence of investment and reinforcement, I'm pleased to say, of this framework. So it has become quite predictive in terms of where the bets are going to be placed. So with that, let me bring us to a close and highlight some key takeaways. Basically, at the end of the day, as I said, the model to deliver value is permanently disrupted. We're not going back. The brand marketers are definitely responding by personalizing that whole customer experience. Personalization is the game changer. Not all of it has been worked out, but it is certainly where we're focused. Insights is core and key. It's not going away. And so what is key to delivering that insights is a greater integration of data and analytics, so there's a more complete understanding in real time. And we have new players stepping in to complement the traditional players to really help meet the demands and the needs of the brand marketer. So exciting times, and the question for you is, how will you grow your business? Because this market is certainly an interesting opportunity. So I hope this has been a helpful overview, and I look forward to answering any questions at the end of the meeting.